Very good afternoon, students. So today we will be starting off with Epsilon NFA. Just to remind you all, in our last class we had finished off with different examples of deterministic finite automata, and we had started off with non-deterministic finite automata, and we had seen the process of converting a NFA to a DFA. So today we are going to start off with Epsilon NFA, which is a special kind of NFA. Okay. So let me share my screen and carry on. So I hope my screen is visible. So basically, before going into this, I would like to tell you what a Epsilon NFA is. Okay. So formal definition is not required at all. So Epsilon NFA is something, NFA rather I should say, which contains a epsilon move. What I mean to say is, suppose you have a NFA like this. You have two states, and suppose this is the final state. Here you have a transition over A, here you have a transition over B, and from A to B you have a epsilon move. Now you can write epsilon or you can write lambda, whatever, it's up to you. But NFA which contains such a transition or such a move, that is which contains epsilon or a lambda move, is known as a epsilon NFA, and your NFA may contain one or more than one, that is any number of epsilon moves. There is no restriction in that, right? So basically what we will be focusing over in today's lecture is how to convert a epsilon NFA to a DFA. So let's start with the example directly. This is our example. As you can see, we have three states. Q0 is the initial state and Q2 is the final state, and we have two epsilon moves over here. Okay. So this is the NFA given to us, and we have to convert this NFA to an equivalent DFA. Now there are certain steps for doing it. The first step is we have to find the epsilon closure of each state. What is the epsilon closure of a state? Epsilon closure of a particular state must contain the state itself and all the other states which can be reached from that state using an epsilon move. I repeat, epsilon closure of a state always contains that state itself and all the other states which can be reached from that state using a epsilon or lambda move. So if you are going to calculate the epsilon closure of Q0, it will obviously contain Q0 itself, and in addition to that it will contain Q1, because on getting a epsilon you are moving to Q1 from Q0, so you include Q1 and Q2. Again, why Q2? Because again if you start from Q0, you get a epsilon, you move to Q1, again you get a epsilon, you move to Q2. So transition from Q0 to Q2 is involving only epsilons. So I can include Q2 as well, because I can reach from Q0 to Q2 using epsilon move. Okay. Similarly, what will be the epsilon closure of Q1? It will contain Q1 itself, and what will it contain? Because you have this one epsilon move from Q1 to Q2, so you will include Q2 because you can reach Q2 using epsilon move from Q1. And finally, what is the epsilon closure of Q2? There are no epsilon moves from Q2, so it will just contain Q2 itself. Okay. So we have calculated the epsilon closure of these three states, Q0, Q1, Q2, and this is your first step for the process of conversion. Moving on to the next step, what we will do is we will start with the first epsilon closure that you have got. The first epsilon closure that you have got, is Q0, Q1, Q2, right? Just rename this Q0, Q1, Q2 to something, I have used the nomenclature A. So I am using the alphabet A, capital A, to represent a new state which basically consists of Q0, Q1, Q2. Okay. Now what I will do is I will calculate the transitions on this particular state A, which transitions, A transitions and B transitions, that is the alphabets that are present with me. I have A and I have B, so I will I'll find the transitions of this state A for small a, that is this alphabet A and alphabet B. Okay, and see the process. This part is the transition of capital A comma A. So that means the transition of state A on getting input alphabet A. But outside this you have a epsilon closure. So two things you have to do. First you have to find out the transition, and then you have to calculate the epsilon closure of the transition. Like whatever you are getting inside it, you have to calculate the epsilon closure of that. So let us proceed. Just keep the epsilon closure part intact and first calculate the thing which is present inside the bracket, right? So the transition part for A comma A would give you, if you break this A into its original form, Q0 comma Q1 comma Q2 comma A, right? Now first check for Q0. So Q0 on getting a A, where does it go? It goes nowhere. For Q0 we do not have a transition, so just put null. Next for Q1 on getting a A, it remains at Q1, so I'll just write Q1. Then I have Q2 on getting a A. Q2 on getting a A, it moves to Q1. So I'll put a Q1 again. So I have a null union Q1 which gives me a Q1 ultimately, right? So finally I get epsilon closure of Q1. What is the value of epsilon closure of Q1? We have just found it out. Epsilon closure of Q1 is Q1 comma Q2. So after the entire calculation we get Q1 comma Q2, and since this is something new that we are getting, we name this as a state B. So we have started with state A, then we have got something which contains Q1 and Q2 and we are naming it as state B. A new state that we have got and we name it as state B. You repeat the same thing for all the transitions over the alphabet B. So again just write epsilon closure, transition of A comma B. So again A is broken down into Q0, Q1, Q2, and then for each of this states find the transition for B. So Q0 on getting a B, it remains at Q0, write Q0. Q1 on getting a B, there is nothing, so write a null. Q2 on getting a B, it goes to Q0, right? Q0. So Q0 union epsilon, union null, union Q0 gives you Q0, and we had a epsilon closure outside. So epsilon closure Q0 gives us nothing but Q0 comma Q1 comma Q2. We have already calculated over here that epsilon epsilon closure Q0 is Q1 comma Q0 comma Q1 comma Q2. We are again getting the same thing. So this is nothing but state A, right? Because we have already mentioned that Q0 comma Q1 comma Q2 is state A. So we have completed the process one step for state A, that is we have found the transitions of state A over B and A, and in that process we have got a new state B. So we are now going to repeat the same thing for state B, but before that, see, this is my partial transition table. Whatever I have got here, I have put it into a tabular format. That is, my present state was A. On transition over A, I went to state B, and on transition over B, I went to state A. This is my partial transition table for DFA. Now, as I told you, we will repeat the same process for the new state that we have got, that is state B. So, if you see, now our state is B, and we will again look into the transition of B for input alphabet A. So, what is state B? It consists of Q1 comma Q2. So, again break it down. So, Q1 on getting a A, it moves to Q1 itself, and Q2 on getting a A moves to Q1 itself. So, Q1 union Q1 gives you Q1. That is epsilon closure Q1, which is nothing but Q1 comma Q2, right? Achha. Again, if you repeat the same thing for input alphabet B, you will get epsilon closure, a transition of B comma B, break this down into Q1 comma Q2, and then you calculate for Q1. If you get a B, there is nothing, so it's a null. For Q2, if it's a B, you go to Q0, so it's a Q0. Null union Q0 gives you Q0, so ultimately you get epsilon closure Q0, which is nothing but A, state A. There is Q0 comma Q1 comma Q2. So you can now complete the transition table. That is, if my present state is B, on getting a A, I go to state B, I remain at state B, and on getting a B, I go to state A. How do you say that my transition table is complete or my process is complete and I need not add more steps? See, in the process of doing this, in the process of calculating the transitions, you have not got any new states. The state you got over here was similar to state B, and the state you got here was similar to state A. So you have not incurred any new combination of states, and therefore we can terminate the process over here and say that this is our final transition table, right? So if you convert this into the transition diagram or transition graph, whatever you say, you can simply do that from the table, right? So this is basically the process which is going to be same for any epsilon NFA that you get for converting into an equivalent DFA. So this was a small example basically. Now I have a larger example for you all, and I have not solved it. Like the step by step solution has not been provided over here, and we have much time left in this class. So what I want is, please, I'll give you 10 minutes, all of you. So you all try to solve this. That is, this is the given NFA to all of you with epsilon or lambda moves. You have to convert this into a equivalent DFA. So I'll give you 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes we will be discussing the problem. So take 10 minutes and try to solve it. You can do it in whatever, you can use a doc file or whatever you are comfortable with. After that you can share the screen and show me whatever you have done.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you move to slide number 5?
Yes.
Ma'am, how is the self loop on B for A? How that A can?
Once again, I could not hear you.
Ma'am, how is that self loop on B for the value A?
For the value.
The reduced form.
Okay, reduced form. This one.
No, node B.
Node B. Okay. So
self loop A, how did that come?
Okay. So see, when I was in B and I am in state B and I was calculating the transition over A. So after completing the entire process, what I got is Q1 comma Q2, which is nothing but state B again. So on getting a upon B, I remain in state B only. That is why there is a self loop.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, as I was saying, it's 2:24. So take a time up to 2:34, and after that we will be seeing that how you have solved the problem, and we will be parallelly discussing as well. Okay.
Ma'am, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, in the
Yeah.
diagram, can
Should I
turn
go to the
back.
diagram? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Which one is the starting state,
This
ma'am?
one, this one. 0.
Okay.
Pratik, you have shared a jam file, but I would need the access of the same basically. Okay, fine.
Ma'am, I have drawn the DFA in my rough copy. And can I explain it?
Yeah, you can actually explain, but from your copy, I don't know how are you going to explain. You can explain actually.
Ma'am, can you switch over to the diagram?
Yeah, sure. Just a second. Yeah.
Ma'am, here the starting state is 0.
Mhm.
So from 0 to, there will be two initial states actually, from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 4. So here we can eliminate 0 and 2, which is not needed because they are none. So if we reduce it to NFA, I mean DFA, we will make an initial stage A. From then A to B, we will give input A and B, which will lead to B. Okay. From B to C, we will give input A.
Okay.
From C to D, we will get input B. And from D to final stage, which is 10, I'm naming it here E, it will go B. And for all the other inputs like B, A, and other A, it will go to dead state.
Okay. So Pratik, right? Yeah. Pratik, can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
do one thing? You can share. You're using laptop, right? Are you on from laptop or phone?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So do one thing. I'm stopping my screen share. You share your screen and open the canvas, and just try to draw the final diagram that you have just explained me. You can do that, right?
Okay, ma'am. I will draw the diagram then I will share
Okay.
the screen.
Okay. Like anybody who has solved the problem, I would ask you to do the same. Try to use a canvas, Google Canvas, draw the diagram, the final DFA that you are getting, and share that, and then explain how you have got the final diagram. Now that would be more easy for me to understand actually. Okay, so somebody, can you please tell me what will be the first step of solving the problem? As I had like shown you, what should be the first step of this solution? What should you do?
Ma'am, I have drawn. Can I
Yeah,
share?
let me stop sharing. Yeah.
can see my screen, right?
I can see your screen, but yeah, I can
Uh,
see.
yes, ma'am. This is the DFA I was talking about.
We are going to just a second to be. Okay, Pratik, can you tell me that what process have you used for like solving the problem?
Ma'am, simple minimization. Ma'am, I have eliminated the null moves actually.
Okay, but first of all, Pratik, you can solve the problem using 5 states.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but
And actually 6 states.
no, what I am saying is you may be able to solve the problem with 5 states. Okay, what the
Okay.
solution I have here, it's possible to solve the problem using just 5 states, and I don't know, my DFA looks somewhat different from your DFA. So
Okay.
I don't know basically the process, that maybe you have just randomly eliminated the null moves. So
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
that's why it's not matching with my DFA. So the step by step process that I had shown you just now in the PPT. So what we need to follow over here is, first you need to calculate the epsilon closure of the initial state. So here the initial state is 0. If you follow the diagram,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
initial state is 0. So at first you need to find the epsilon closure of 0, and if you calculate that, the epsilon closure of 0 would give you 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 4 comma 7, right?
Okay.
So and then again you need to calculate the A transition for this state, B transition for this state. Okay, so if I am going to draw the final diagram, you can actually stop.
Yes, ma'am. Can you, ma'am, illustrate, ma'am? If you illustrate, it
Yeah,
will be
stop
better actually.
sharing this now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so basically the diagram that we will be getting is something like this. If you start at state A, your A will be the starting state, and then you move to B, with transition A, then you move to C with transition B. Over C you have a self loop of B. From B you move to state D. Over B, and from D you move back to state B over A. From C you move to state B over A. Okay, now from D you have another state called E, which is your final state basically. So it's over B you reach E, and from D to B, okay, you have already added a self loop. From E to B again, from E to B again you have a loop for, you have a transition over A. From E to C you have a transition over B. So just check whether I have done all the transitions. For state A and B done. For state C, A and B done. For state B, B is done. I think the,
Ma'am, for B, A is not
yeah,
done.
for Yeah. So for B, you are going to have a self loop of A, and then from B, on getting a B transition, you go to D. So B is done. Then coming to D, on getting a A, you move back to B, and on getting a B, you move to E. So D is done. And for E, on getting a A, you go to B, and on getting a B, you move to C. Okay, so it's complete. Okay, but now how are you getting this? The entire process will be just similar to what I had shown you all. So basically, as I told you, if this is your if this is the problem, just a second. So if this was your problem, first of all you need to calculate the epsilon closure of 0, right? So epsilon closure of 0, if you calculate, it will be it will be 0, 1, 2, 4, 7, right? Now once you get this, I am naming this as a state A. So I am naming this as state A. Now for this state A, what you need to do is, you need to find the transition over A, and you need to find the transition over B, and the closure as well, epsilon closure. So if you try to find it out, A contains 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. So let's go to the diagram. A contains 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. So 0 has no A moves, 1 has no A moves, 2 has no A moves. 2 has a A move. So from 2, you can actually go to 3 using A. So you just write 3 over here, right? And what else do we have? Anything else that we have? Yeah, from 7 to 8 you have a A move. So 7 was also a part of this. So 7 to 8 also we have a A move. So from A to A we have got this one, 3, 8. But this is not all. We need to find the closure of this. We need to find the epsilon closure of this entire thing, right? So I'm just writing closure of this. So if you calculate the closure of this 3, 8, what you get is, you'll get a very big thing, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. How are you getting this? 3, 8's closure. Get back to the diagram. From 3, if you start and you start calculating the epsilon moves, you get 6, you get 7. From 6 again, here's a 1, so you get 1 as well. From 1 you get 2, you get 4, right? And 3 was already there, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. All these are included, and 8 was already there, so you get 8 as well. So this entire thing is your closure of 3, 8. Similarly, if you try to calculate the B move for this the A, B, let's check the B move. So for 0, 1, 2, 4, 7, where we have a B move, we have a B move over here. From 4 to 5 we have a B move. So any other B moves including 0, 1, 2, 4, 7? No. So only we can write 5. So just write 5. And then again you need to calculate basically the closure of 5. So if again you calculate the closure of 5, what you get is something really big, which consists of 0, 1, 2, 4, 7. 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if I'm not very wrong, then this is what you're getting as a value of A transition over B. Now both of these are new states that you're getting, so just name this as state B and name this as state C. Again what you do is repeat the same thing for state B, repeat the same thing for state C again. I'm not doing the entire process because it will be very lengthy, but please don't use shortcuts by just eliminating the null moves, because that would not give you the proper result always. Now, sometimes it might give you a proper result, but it is not the appropriate process of doing the same. So whenever you're given a question which contains epsilon or null moves and you are asked to convert it into an equivalent DFA, just follow the steps, the process that I have shown you, and you'll surely get the correct answer. Okay. So if I don't think most of you have done it properly or even tried doing it. So my request would be, please try it at once, like at your home, because I have given the hint of solving the problem, and the solution is also drawn over here for your reference. So just try to solve the problem and you see whether you're getting the same kind of a solution or not. If you are getting a solution, then it's fine, you have learned the process properly. Otherwise, you can tell me, you can ask me, I can again explain it in the next class. Okay. So that is it. I am not going to start a new topic today. I am planning to start with milli and more machine in my next class. So thank you all. Please give the IMCRP exam.